All right, so we are agreed then? We are agreed?
I want to talk about the mechanics.
Right.
I want to talk about my fantastic solo album.
And I want to talk about my solo career either. So what are we going to talk about? Genesis. Brilliant. Right here on Friday Night Videos, it's Genesis.
There was one thing I wanted to say about the mechanics.
Yes, actually, I wouldn't mind talking about myself.
Tonight on Friday Night Videos, your guest hosts from the group Genesis are superstar Phil Collins, Mike Rutherford, who you may know as the Mike of Mike and the Mechanics, and Tony Banks. We'll also be presenting very special videos from John Cougar Mellencamp, ex-Genesis member Peter Gabriel, Billy Ocean, Belinda Carlisle, Janet Jackson, David Bowie, GTR, the movie themes from Karate Kid 2 and Legal Eagles, and a broadcast premiere from Simply Red. To begin tonight's show, here with their brand new top 5 hit, Invisible Touch, is Genesis.
I think we've all grown up. I mean, we all get on incredibly well now. I mean, we have a conscious of what it looks like. We all laugh an awful lot together when we were great fun making the album. And, but I remember days of long gone when we were, I guess it was the toll of, you know, doing 7 days a week, doing gigs. When one night there was, we came off stage and there was...
There was a fight.
There was a fight, yes. There was a classic fight. When, I don't know what it was that Tony had, I think, was it you that had done something? Or
No, you wouldn't go back on stage.
Oh, that's right.
I had a bad
very
gig.
annoyed about the gig and wouldn't go back on for the encore. And so I think you threw a chair at him, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
I think he threw a chair at him. Tony threw a chair at Mike.
I didn't actually.
You did, and he missed. No, I think, you missed. And then because we just suddenly agreed we had to do an encore because the audience wouldn't go home without one. So Mike agreed to do an encore. And as he walked out of the door, Tony was there behind him, but 2 steps behind him, trying to kick his leg behind him so he would trip up.
I was trying to kick him.
You were trying to kick me.
Yeah. Well, I've got the story almost right.
Do you remember Leicester?
Yeah. We've had some trouble with Hell's Angels as well.
They were. It wasn't a great gig anyway. They were sitting in the front, front 10 rows, just kind of breaking bottles, trying to annoy us, I think, waiting for someone to have a go at them.
And we cracked.
I did. I
He swore at him, yeah.
Thrown at them, and then they stormed the stage. And I've never seen my compatriots leave so quick.
Yeah. Someone asked the other day if we all stick up for each other, and I told the same story. But I mean, he got smacked in the mouth by one of these Hell's Angels, and before the punch had landed, we were all in the dressing room. so we love each other dearly, but I don't think we stand up for each other very much. Friday Night Videos will return after the short commercial break. Don't go away. It was great fun to be on Miami Vice. So I met Michael Mann in Los Angeles when I did my show in Los Angeles, and he saw me introduce the band and said that was the character that he thought he'd try and get a script based around, which was like a game show host. And then he sent me a script, which I thought was just a small cameo part, and I started turning over the pages. And I found out that I was turning over an awful lot of pages, and it turned out to be far more than a cameo part. It turned out to be one of the main parts in it, apart from Crockett and Tubbs. But so I went over there, just having just learnt the thing, and I was promptly given a new script, which completely, put me in a flat because I was just learnt the one I thought was going to be the script, and they gave me a brand new one. And I was panicking until I found out that Don Johnson hadn't even read the first script. They just sort of go from day to day. So they were very, very helpful down there. I had a great time doing it, and I think I'm going to go back and do another episode next season. I presume the show's going to come back next season.
Peter Gabriel. I mean, he must get a bit fed up being sort of lumped with us lot. I mean, he did leave us back in 1974, which is now 12 years ago. But anyhow, I think the song's great, Sledgehammer. I like the album very much too, but the only thing I would say is it's a shame that this album has done so well over here, whereas, say, the last couple of albums, which I think, from my feeling, are actually slightly better.
But I think it's great that Pete has had the success he's had. I mean, albeit, it's been a long time since the last album anyway, and I think it's, he does work very hard on his records, long and hard, doesn't he?
Long,
especially long.
You're right, it's the whole American vibe is suddenly they discovered en masse Peter Gabriel.
Yeah. Don't go away because Friday Night Videos will return momentarily after this station identification. I think that was probably the Beatles were one of the biggest influences on this band, or in most bands, I would think. I mean, I would like to think, and there's an enormous influence on me, and I think, musically.
Definitely, yeah.
But it was an extraordinary experience, you know, when you bought records, completely idolised the guys. I mean, every now and again, I mean, I still think of myself as a fan of all these people. No matter how successful we get, I always think of them as being, you know, on a different kind of area, a different scale altogether. And so to be sort of in the studio with him, every now and again you pinch yourself and say, good God, you know, this really is that person that you admired so much 20 odd years ago. Funny old world. Well, here we have our old friend Steve Hackett. Actually, not quite so old, but he's our old friend Steve Hackett with Steve Howe and GTR with When the Heart Rules the Mind. Hi, now don't touch that dial because we'll be right back after the break to talk about Mike and the Mechanics.
Well, a lot of people think that all I need is a miracle is actually all I need is America. I think so. I was a hit. Tom did, my little boy. I think it's a very good pop song. There's nothing wrong with a good pop song. And
no, I think it's a great pop song. I told you this. I said to you that if you didn't release it as a single, I was going to do it with Eric Clapton. But you released it.
I didn't release it as a single. Honest.
And now we have John Cougar Mellencamp with Rumble Seat.
Don't go away. We'll be right back, and Tony and I will tell you exactly what we think about Phil's solo albums, won't we?
We will.
The real, true story.
I honestly don't think that my solo success has had any impact at all on Tony and Mike's relationship with me inside the group as we know it.
He comes in the morning, pushes us out the way, says, hello, what we're going to do is this. Nah, they're quiet.
Mike, polish my roller. We don't really talk about it. I mean, I think we've known each other so long that it's gone to, you know, we've known each other so long to pull any fast ones. I mean, I think we all know that there's a tremendous element of luck involved in anything relation to this business. I mean, being the record coming out at the right time, capturing the imagination of a certain amount of people, whereas so many other records which are just as good or just as bad, which way you look at it, come out and, you know, just miss out. So I think between the three of us, I mean, as I say, it never really comes up in conversation. I mean...
I'm always surprised, actually. That's definitely... I'm always surprised how little effect it has. We seem, when we get together, we seem to be very insular. And nothing seems to change it.
Well, I don't think it really makes a difference. The relationship we have isn't really changed by something like that. I mean...
No. I mean, occasionally, like, if one of my records was going up, I mean, I would say, it's only gone up 2 or 3 places, and Tony might say, only 2 or 3 places? Well, you poor young chap. You know, but as a joke, you know, I think we tend to send each other up about it a bit. I mean, that happens.
Oh, it's dropped from 1 to 3. Oh, God, how wrong.
We'll be right back to tell you how Phil joined the group.
The Melody Maker was the Bible of musicians in the 70s, the late 60s and 70s. And there was an advert. I think Genesis put an advert. Well, it didn't say Genesis. It just said drummer wanted, sensitive to acoustic music. And though I wasn't, I went anyway. And I just went to the audition, really, and sort of, by comparison to what the other bands I've been in, it was much more together and appeared far more successful, even though the band wasn't particularly at that point. I think it was the rehearsing outdoors with the piano under the patio sort of shade that made it appear very, very sort of...
We were rehearsing at Pete's parents' house, and I think he thought that it was like, you know, it looked as if we were very well off. You know,
well, you were in carpet slippers and dressing gown, you know, it was all very Noel Coward.
Swimming pool in the background.
That's right.
Little did you know that it was meant to be at the back of the bread band. The next video is Money's Too Tight to Mention by Simply Red, who everyone seems to be raving about, and I hear are incredibly good live.
Okay, now listen, don't go away, don't touch that dial, because we're going to be right back with Friday Night Videos. Don't go away, right?
This is David Bowie, and it's called Underground.
We're going to a commercial right now, but don't go away, because we're going to be right back with more Friday Night Videos. You want to talk about I Don't Care Anymore? Well, I Don't Care Anymore. That was... Obviously, I'd had a bad day at the office or something. The music, like all my songs, are based on 3 or 4 chords that I know, and I put them in different orders depending on which song I'm doing. And the lyrics were, most of them were spontaneous. I was obviously very peeved about something,